Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, here to discuss some more headlines coming out of Tennessee Titans minicamp. And wow, listen to my own stream come through. That's great. So we've had more conversations actually stemming from the last video I made, which was a little over a week ago. I think it was last Friday, regarding the quarterback two situation, as in the last day of on-field minicamps, Malik Willis might have had his best day, and Will Levis certainly had his worst day, which is now continuing and really beginning, but continuing because I started to have the conversation as early as last week and even earlier than that of, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because we all assumed when Will Levis was chosen with the number 33 overall pick, first pick in the second round, or I guess second pick in the second round, that he was going to be quarterback two. Now, obviously on the initial depth chart, because Malik Willis has the experience, okay, in minicamp, he was going to be Malik Willis, but we all thought in quick fashion, probably by the middle of the preseason, maybe even before the preseason, Will Levis would supersede him and be quarterback two. But as some people were waiting on, as some people predicted, as some people felt, Malik Willis has taken, at least in the offseason, steps forward in his progression. This was a quarterback who was selected in the third round of the 2022 NFL Draft, who everyone knew was a bit, maybe even a lot, of a developmental quarterback. Everyone thought, no, he should not start year one, just stash him, start him maybe year two, at least give him a year. But we had to trot him out there due to injury. He did not look good. In fact, he looked awful. And then at times in practice and even slightly in the preseason, sometimes he looked pretty bad. Overall, his preseason was fine for me, but at times there were ugly parts of the preseason as well. But overall, it was fine. But he's put in the work in the offseason, coming into this, minicamp period and OTA period and all of that. He looks improved. And the thing that we have to keep in mind is that the media for OTAs, for minicamp, they're not able to see every single practice. So we are still seeing maybe a third or maybe 40%, maybe even less, I don't even know, of the amount of practices that took place. So it's a sample size. I mean, if you see something 40% of the time, can you go ahead and say and extrapolate it to 100%? Not fairly. Now, would you do it more often than not? Maybe. I don't know. That depends on you. But it's not nothing. I'll say that. It's not nothing, right? So, and the big thing that we have to consider here, and look, this is why, again, and look, I'm not against, because this is going to be the whole narrative, this entire Will Levis experiment, that because, I obviously did not like him coming out of the draft, although I thought he was a second round pick, and we took him in the second round, so I'm fine with that. But although I did not want us to draft him and all of that, I have some preconceived notion that I want to be proven about him. No, that's not true. But what I am going to tell you, because I'm not going to do the opposite, and I'm going to call out when the opposite is being done, and when obviously you guys should have, been quiet, is when people want to ignore the flaws. Wow, Will Levis had this beautiful little throw in rookie minicamp that was posted on Twitter. Everybody, let's freak out. It ignored the tape. Ignore his game against Vandy. Ignore his game against Tennessee. Ignore the fact he had to transfer from Penn State. Ignore the fact that he regressed. Ignore. I can't do that. If you can do that, if you can compartmentalize and say now he's a Tennessee Titan, I don't give a damn about what he did in college. Congratulations. You're more fanatic than me. I won't say you're a better fan. You're more fanatic than I am. Congratulations. But I have an obligation to come on here and tell you what I think. Or at least I believe that I do. So, I'm not surprised that Will Levis threw picks in the last minicamp period. I'm not shocked at all. Why? Because that's what he did at Kentucky. Why would you be surprised? Why? Now, with that said, I'm not changing my evaluation of him 1%. Not even 1%. This is my evaluation. It's this now. And again, Marcus Mariota is a great example of this. Although his 1 year in 2018 was an aberration. I don't know what happened that year. Or I guess was it 2018 or 2017? The year he had, it should have been 2017. The year he had 15 interceptions, I don't know what happened that year. That was the year he came off of the ACL, I want to say. Let me check his stat line again. It should have been 2017. He had that 13 touchdown. Yeah, it was. And we still won that playoff game in which he caught the pass to himself, so I don't know. But yeah, that outside of that year, though, Mariota was someone that did not throw interceptions. In practice and training camp, even as a rookie, he didn't throw interceptions. But when there was a problem when it came to that on the field. He wasn't confident enough to make some of the throws that he needed to make, which limited his potential, limited his upside, and ultimately one of the reasons why we had to move off of it. So there are pros and cons to quarterbacks that throw interceptions in practice. Mahomes is a guy that early on threw a lot of interceptions in practice. Brett Favre notoriously threw a lot of interceptions in practice. So I'm not freaking out that Will Levis is throwing interceptions in practice. This is my evaluation. This is the evaluation. So my thing is this. Don't freak out when he has great throws, and don't freak out when he has interceptions. This is the evaluation. If he does something outside of the evaluation, then we'll talk. Like if he all of a sudden is not throwing interceptions in practice and he's looking different than what he looked like in Kentucky, okay, let me know. That hasn't been the case. So I don't understand the freak out in either direction. Wake me up when he does something that I'm not expecting him to do. Now, Malik Willis is doing something that I did not expect for him to do. He's showing improved accuracy. He's showing touch. He's showing improved understanding of the playbook. And the thing about him, especially when you look at all these minicamp footage, is that people are always going to look at Levis's beautiful release and his footwork. This guy is more polished at the quarterback position. Again, he was recruited to go to Penn State. He went to Penn State. They have their beautiful quarterback coaching, their tree, Sean Clifford, Christian Hackenberg, not great NFL prospects, by the way, but still, they have their pedigree of traditional pro-style quarterbacks. Of course, Will Levis is going to look freaking better in terms of footwork and accuracy, maybe not accuracy, but especially footwork and mechanics and release, 110%. But that wasn't the evaluation. What was the evaluation? The evaluation was that Malik Willis is a little raw. He had a transfer from Auburn, went to Liberty. Not a great quarterback school, not a school known really for doing anything. He led them to very good records, by the way, and being very competitive. We knew he was raw. We knew he had a slow release, but he has a big arm. He has a great body. He can move. He's tough. He's able to be a threat in the run game. And with development of some of those things, he could end up being a starting quarterback. Very, very similar in build, type, arm to Steve Air McNair. That was the evaluation. Who had to sit for 2 years. Now, that was back in 1995, okay? So it's not like, well, that happens all the time. And then with Will Levis, the comp, the best case scenario comp was Josh Allen, who struggled in training camp his rookie year and his rookie year in general and had to develop. So we are in a situation where we have these two developmental quarterbacks, one that's been in the NFL 1 year longer than the other. But my argument against that, because I hear people saying that, sure, and there's some validity to that. They're the same age. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't really care. I mean, it's a little bit advantage Malik because of that, because he had the 1 year in the NFL. But because they're the same age and because Will Levis went to Penn State and Kentucky and then Malik Willis went to Auburn and Liberty, I think it's damn near equal. But, I mean, sure, if you want to say Malik has more experience, that's fine. I don't know about that. But you can say that. So with that said, I'm intrigued. And I want to keep them both, period. I think as long as Malik Willis, or either one actually, because Levis could look awful. As long as neither one of them look awful, keep them both. I say keep them both. Because what we are likely headed towards, because this is what the football gods do, my friends. This is what the football gods do. Ryan Tannehill is somehow going to get hurt this year. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. Now, I don't wish that upon him. I don't wish that upon him. I don't. I wouldn't like to see it. I would not. I know some people might believe the contrary. I really would not. But there's something about whenever, except for like Jordan Love, whenever you have a quarterback, well, Jordan Love is an example for this. Whenever you have a quarterback in there that is average or worse, and you have semi to highly drafted quarterback behind them as early as the second round, somehow, some way, that quarterback's going to play. I don't know why. It just happens. Don't ask me. It happens. I don't know why. It happens all the time, almost every year, even if that's not the plan. It happens all the time. So, and I predicted this last year that Malik Willis was going to play, and then he ended up playing. So I think Tannehill's somehow going to get hurt again, and we're going to have a controversy. I can already feel it. I can't see a way in hell Tannehill started. I just don't see that. I think this is going to be drama. I think he's going to get hurt. This is all BS prediction, but whatever. Just follow me on this. Somehow Tannehill's going to get hurt. We're going to need quarterback 2 and quarterback 3. And for now, I don't love this plan because as of this moment, I don't love either Willis or Levis. I don't love either one of them. I mean, they could end up being something I don't love either one of them. But if they continue to show progression, hey, 2024, that's the real battle between them. All right, let's go and let's find out. You know? But I think that's a better strat. If Malik Willis looks improved and Will Levis isn't terrible, then to just cut Malik Willis potentially or trade him for a 5th, 6th, 7th. Because, I mean, I think you let Tannehill walk. Again, we need to see how these guys look. But you got to let Tannehill walk. I mean, I know people are so in love with Tannehill. I think he's going to come in here this year and do fine. But we need to move on. So, after this year, we want to do one more year with Tannehill, Henry, and D-Hop and, win the division potentially. Fine. Okay, we can do that. But future-wise, if these two want to go at it, sure. But we got round 1. We got the prelim, the exhibition between Malik Willis and Will Levis. And this is what training camp is going to be about for us that are interested in these sort of stupid things. Because does it really matter? Not really. Unless if one of them gets cut, which, I mean, it'd have to be Willis. Not going to cut Levis or trade it. But this is what we're going to be watching. I mean, the preseason sucks. I mean, if you're really into it, sure, you're going to watch, like, hey, Rashad Weaver went off 2 years ago, and, your boy Racey McMath is looking good, or your boy Kyle Phillips is looking good. When you have some young quarterbacks in there, that's when the preseason's a little fun. So, excuse me, as I hype this up a little bit, I want to see, and it's going to be fun. I'm going to be watching the whole preseason games intently, and having fun. We're going to have the whole game, 1/2 Willis, 1/2 Levis. Let's discuss. 1/2 Willis, 1/2 Levis. Let's discuss. That's going to be lit. Because the last preseason was actually pretty fun because Willis was out there. But now we got 2. So it's going to be interesting. So, hey, we're going to find out. Now, let's go ahead and make a poll. Let's make a poll. So who will end up being the Titans quarterback 2 in 2023? Okay, so in my last poll, in my last video, I asked, what did I ask? I asked, do you even think it's possible that Willis ends up being quarterback 2? In this poll, I just want to ask, who do you think is going to win? Because now I think people are really opening up to themselves the idea like, Willis may end up being quarterback too. Who will be QB2 for the Titans in 2023? I will withhold my opinion until I finish this next topic. But yeah, let me go ahead and create this poll, and we'll see what the chat says. All right, so with that said, let's get into DeAndre Hopkins. So DeAndre Hopkins had his visit with the Tennessee Titans last Sunday, which reportedly went well. You know, he posted him on Instagram being driven in by the team limo, and they had him photoshopped in the Titans jersey. Looked like he was having a good time, so good for him there. That was good to see. So he was driving in. We also saw, what else did we see in reference to that? Well, we saw him also like having fun with the CMA Fest, which was cool. He said Nashville was lit. You know, whatever the hell that means. It's not like he hasn't been here before. Now it's usually been business, but I mean, come on, you've been here before, bro. Come on, Jesus. So it went well. And then he had his visit with the New England Patriots. Now, there are conflicting rumors and reports as to what the hell happened here. As to, you know, whether or not the Titans have a contract offer or not. Do the Patriots have an offer or not? So here's my understanding, as best as I can describe it. You know, usually in these visits, there's at least some sort of framework. They're ballparking numbers. I don't think an actual contract offer was made, but I think they're having some similar numbers apparently, and I don't even want to believe this report. We're offering like an incentive-laden contract similar to what Odell got from the Ravens. Okay. And, you know, the Patriots are not. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I really like, I don't want to obsess over this crap. Not that I don't want D-Hop, but it's just so cumbersome because, like, I don't think he's going to sign until July or August, to be honest with you. So worrying about the details, like, we may never know the details, to be honest. We still don't even know the details about what happened with A.J. Brown. They're still lying. Someone's still lying, okay? A.J. Brown's still saying one thing. John Robinson's still saying another thing. Over a year later. So I don't think we're ever really going to know whether or not was there an incentive, was there or not. I think it's a waste of time. I know it's fun. I know you're obsessed with the team. I know you love being on Twitter. Just whenever someone signs, let me know. This idea of the contract, talk. Look, the Ravens and Lamar were going back and forth. They ended up giving him the biggest contract in NFL history. What the hell was the point? And I was talking about this for 8 months when he ended up being number one anyway. What was the point when he was going to be number one anyway? And he wasn't going to get a guaranteed contract anyway. What the hell was the point? It still doesn't make sense to me. Why did they wait until Jalen Hurts got paid before they paid Lamar? So I don't care about these contract negotiations. They don't make sense. It's a waste of time. So you'll never know the details most likely. So I don't care. Just let me know when he signs. So, but people still care about the updates. So yeah, he visited the Patriots. And look, here's my one thing when it comes to this. I want to know why it took 2 weeks after his release before he started visiting these two teams, and it was consecutive. So I don't know if he visited with us and the Patriots were like, oh, let's go get him too. Or if he just took 2 weeks. I think there's still going to be another team or two out there, I think. But again, I would not expect anything until July. I think he's just going to chill for the next month and enjoy his summer and get in shape. I don't think he's even worried about it. I don't think he's tripping. So if I were y'all, I wouldn't trip. If y'all want to start tripping, I think July 25th is when we report to training camp. Sure, but D-Hop normally doesn't even really like training at training camp, so it might go longer than that. So I wouldn't trip until late July, folks. I mean, I really wouldn't trip about it. So if y'all want to say DeAndre Hopkins watch, look, I'm not going to stop you. Go ahead and stalk that man all you want. Follow him on social media and all that. I'm good. I'm about to enjoy my summer. We got the 4th of July and all that. So go ahead and enjoy. Hey, look, when he signs, I'll be here to discuss it. Until then, I'm not going to talk about all the crazy social media updates because nothing happens. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to move on to the chat. We do have a super chat that I want to get to. We have, kick it to the King Productions. What's up, Joshua, who says the following. Let me pull it up here. He says, travel down a rabbit hole. If Malik is quarterback one over Will in 2024, how bad is it on Vrabel and Carthon to waste a second-round pick that could have been a wide receiver? Well, we will see because, I mean, you're talking about they could have gotten Mingo. They could have gotten who else went in that second round? Well, I mean, if they really liked any of the third round wide receivers, they could have took any of them too. But yeah, like maybe a Cedric Tillman or something like that. I mean, personally, again, I would have just took one of the wide receivers. Hell, personally, I would have took Jackson Smith and Jigma in the first round. But that's another story for another day. And he's looking good apparently in Seattle. But, it would sting. It would be you look back and be like, wow, this was Rand Carthon's Kevin Dodd. This is Rand Carthon's Isaiah Wilson. Now, not that bad. But I mean, even there as being a starting quarterback, I mean, it's for early second, it is bad. It's not the worst. Well, if he never ends up starting for you, okay, well then it's bad. Which is why I think like ultimately, and let's see what the poll says. Let's go ahead and look at the results of the poll. It is 50-50 right now. So I'm going to keep the poll up. 50-50 right now for Willis versus Levis. Malik is going to have to climb mountains to be the starting quarterback next year. Now, I'm not going to say he can do it, but Rand Carthon is going to want his guy. And then I'm sure Mike Vrabel was involved in those discussions, and apparently more than he was involved in the discussions for Malik. And he's the one, Mike Vrabel, that decided in, week 17 or 18 to move on from Malik and start Joshua Dobbs. That was Mike Vrabel. So Malik Willis is gonna have to climb hell and high water. With that said, he has the appeal right now and the favor of quarterback coach Charles London, who really likes him. And ultimately, if he outshines Levis in the preseason and gets quarterback two, and he outshines him in training camp, and all the fans can see, dude, Willis is better, they have no choice. Well, hopefully they have no choice. I mean, hopefully they're not so tone deaf that they'd still just start Levis anyway because he has a higher draft capital. Hopefully they made the decision that's best for the team and the organization, and even the locker room would, be upset about that if that's truly the case. So, and again, this is why, and they just, I don't know what the hell they were doing, actually. I was about to make an excuse for them, but I really don't know what they were doing. This is why they really should have just, even whether it was wide receiver or not, and maybe Levis ended up being a franchise quarterback. But this is why my move, we missed out on Stroud, who, by the way, looks great. He looks great. So go ahead and look out for that. But I just said, man, take a wide receiver, another offensive lineman, whatever. No quarterbacks this year. GG. Next year. And if that means that we're bad this year, I'm cool with it. But taking Levis, I was just like, man, I would rather just, start Malik this year. And if we're awful, you know what? I feel bad for those of you that are season ticket holders and PSLs. And look, I want to go to games too and have fun. But it might be for the greater good. It might be, but hey, this is what they decided to do. So, I don't want to be too hindsight. But that's what I said. And I'm not going to back down from what I said until we see something to the contrary. But I agree. I do agree, and that's why I wouldn't have done it. And that's why I didn't like it when we did it. All right. With that said, I'll get to some of the other comments that came through. Is this updating? But yeah, thank you for the super chat. Kick it to the King Productions. We had Ralph Fax that said, so if Willis wins the quarterback 2 job, and let's say Levis doesn't even play, do you think it eliminates any chance of you guys drafting a quarterback in the next draft? Well, no. I mean, I think that threat is eliminated, to be honest with you. The only way that would happen if Levis plays, if Willis stinks so bad he gets cut. Levis plays, he stinks so bad, he has to be Josh Rosen bad. And we have to draft another quarterback, which is crazy, which is why I wouldn't have done it. Again, why I wouldn't have done it. But we're here now. So I just, guys, there's no way we're taking a quarterback next year. I would give it 4%. I mean, I know it's frustrating. I know to some of us, that's just what we should have done. Just waited till next year. But we're here now. We just took one in the third round last year, in the second round this year. We're going to spend a first on one next year. I mean, it could happen, but damn. Are we now the Cleveland Browns who are taking, I think they took, who they take? They took Deshaun Kaiser. No, they took Cody Kessler and then Deshaun Kaiser, and then they took Baker Mayfield. That's who we are now? Oh my God. Oh my God. That would be bad. Although the Browns, had a, playoffs, winning season. They won a playoff game in the Baker Mayfield era, but I'm not quite ready to be there. I'm going to end the poll. So Malik Willis wins the poll. Now, I'm not sure if this is person at the moment, but 60% say that Malik Willis will win the quarterback 2 job. 63%. Another vote came in. 63% say that Malik Willis will win the job, quarterback 2 job over Will Levis, to 36% Will Levis. Now, I think that's a bit prisoner of the moment. I'll give you my prediction right now. Damn. I'm thinking now. I think it's going to be Willis. Wow. I wouldn't have said that a month ago. But that's not to say he's going to be quarterback 2 throughout the year. I'll say that. But I think I'm going to be bold and say Malik Willis. Which is not a good look, though. Which is why I feel like even for PR's sake, they might just have to put Levis there. Because it's like, damn. Are you really going to go into the season and everyone's like, dude, your second round pick, your number 33 pick is your quarterback 3? Such a terrible look, dude. It's an awful look. Yeah, it is really bad. For politics, I'm going to switch and say Levis. But what I will say, I think Malik Willis is going to outperform him in the preseason. And if he does, it's shady. And, that's the business. We're going to have a conversation about that if that happens. That's my prediction. I think Malik Willis is going to outperform. Maybe not in training camp. I think in training camp, Levis might look better, especially to the fans' eye. And that's kind of what people have been reporting too. But I think in the game, Levis is going to have, or in the preseason, Levis is going to have more turnovers. I think Willis is going to have more touchdowns. Yards, maybe Levis throws for more. I mean, he will probably because it's the second half. So people are going to say, well, he moves the ball more. And because of that, Levis will be quarterback 2. But people are going to have a problem with that. And then depending on what we do with Malik, people are going to have a problem with that. But I think Malik is going to look decent in this preseason, like pretty damn decent. I think he's about to bring it, and we're going to have some conversations. I think these are going to be very interesting. Let's move on to DeAndre Ray, who said, also we had one from Alonzo Henderson Sr. Sorry, he said, as sports fan Timmy, you can put you on record. Malik Willis is better than what people think. He's going to prove a lot of people wrong. I've been saying this for a while now, and we will see. Alonzo Henderson Sr., we will definitely see. DeAndre Ray, who says, is Kevin Byard the best defensive titan ever? Random question. No. No. Is he top 5? By the way, should I rank these? See, the one problem with our defenders is that some of them didn't stay here very long, which kind of makes it up. So let's just talk about, now let me define what I mean when I say best defensive tight end ever. This is my definition that I'm operating under. So it's not the best player to ever, not the best defensive player to ever wear a Titans jersey, right? Because the best player to ever wear a Titans jersey is Randy Moss. So that doesn't, that's not what we're talking about. It's a combination of what was accomplished here, and longevity does matter. I care about longevity, but if you were really impactful in 4 or 5 years, then you might get the nod, which is where I'm looking at like a Haynesworth and Curse, and I'm like, oh. So it is tough because when you're looking at Haynesworth and Curse, they are by far the most talented, but they weren't, neither one of them were here the longest, but they had the highest of highs. That's what's tough about them. Let me make sure I remember exactly. And then Curse came back, which was even crazier that you have to take in consideration here. And by the way, if you guys have your own top 5, put your own top 5s in the chat for this. But he's definitely not the best. If I had to say, I want to say Curse. I kind of want to say Curse, but in terms of longevity, though, I'd say Bullock. So that's kind of frustrating. I think I want to go Bullock but Haynesworth was the best and most impactful. But it was just a short period amount of time. That's the one thing that sucks about Haynesworth. But you know what? I might have to go Haynesworth. It's tough between Haynesworth, Curse, and Bullock for me. Those are your top 3. And then 4, I think you're looking at, I don't even know if you could put Byard over Casey yet. I think I'd have Gerald Casey over Kevin Byard still. And then I'd have Byard, and then maybe you would start to consider, Kyle Van den Bosch. No, I think I'd have both of them over Van den Bosch. And then I might have Van den Bosch. So that'd be like my top 6. Cortland would be up there. Nah, well, actually, I think Cortland's kind of overrated. Michael Griffin might be over Cortland. Yeah, it's interesting. Let me see if anyone has put any thoughts in the chat about that. Yeah, best ever. I'd have to say Haynesworth for his time here in terms of longevity. Bullock. Curse is like kind of the combination of the two. But Casey's up there, and Casey for me is over Kevin Byard, I would say, for best defensive tight end ever. But hey, if Byard stays here another 3-4 years and continues to play at this level, he definitely could end up, I don't know if he's going to end up being the best ever. I think he'd have to have a signature, I mean, we've had signature playoff wins, but like a Super Bowl appearance or a win, then, that might take him over the top. But it'd be very difficult. But your boy, Big Jeff Simmons, definitely has a chance to one day be the best Tennessee tight end defensive player ever. So hopefully one day he ascends to that throne. So with that said, that's going to do it for me here on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you all. Happy Sunday to you all. Again, what are your thoughts on this Malik Willis versus Will Levis, competition for quarterback 2? Who do you think will win? Comment down below. I want to know. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.